It's lame how on Apple, like, I can't have any filters on, like, the recordings, but, like, okay, I feel like people get the LGBTQ and all that kind of stuff, and, like, I guess, like, my point is, like, okay, look, it's not a crime to love somebody, but it's a crime to love somebody and force them to love you back. That's called kidnapping. Okay, except like in different contexts, it's different things. Child abduction. There is coercion. There is rape. There is all that kind of stuff. Those are illegal because they're hurting the other person, and yet you're claiming that you care about them. That's a false claim, right? And yet you are actively taking advantage of that person because you actually have feelings about that person, and you don't want to get your feelings hurt. If you do, you might actually hurt them more. So you're putting them in a place where it's kind of like in a spot where they're kind of forced to put up with you, right? Not out of obligation, not because they chose to be in that situation. It's literally because you're forcing them to be there. That's not okay. And with LGBT, whatever, and pride, okay, those people have problems. They don't understand what gender is. They don't understand gender issues, and they don't understand what homosexuality is. And they also don't understand why it's not okay to do those things with other people just because it makes them feel good when they do that. They're like, I like those feelings, and I like you, and I want you to make me good feelings. It's retarded, okay? They don't get this because they're like, oh, if that person says it's okay and they are okay with it, why can't I be with that person like that? Because that kind of stuff doesn't exist. It's not real. They're delusional. But when you try to teach them how to be normal, as in like, okay, you can't do that to people. You need to actually be in a stable, healthy relationship with the opposite gender because the only reason for having sex is to have a baby. Okay, that's why people like having sex. It's because they want to have a baby, or they want to have a baby and have a family with that person. So they want to raise a family together. They want to participate in society. They want to get to know other people. They like doing those things, you know? That's normal, that's healthy. Whereas gay people, they don't understand this. Right? Like the homosexuals, they don't know what that is. When they experience something that is akin to a healthy relationship, they start, I'm assuming it's because they've molested somebody in the past. Like, that's my assumption. I know there's a lot of misleading articles and news clips that says, like, they've been molested. No, they have molested somebody in the past, developed some sort of PTSD from it, and could not understand why it wasn't okay, and then have resulted in, yeah, it's cause like blah 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 blah. Like, if you meet somebody who's homosexual, their goal in life is to make themselves feel good by forcing you to do things for them and to them, just so that they can go and do things that make themselves feel good again and again. And it's like, people aren't tools for your sexual pleasure. I'm so sorry. That's just reality. That's what that is. If you try to tell them otherwise, they will get very upset and belligerent, right? They'll start, I don't know what the fuck that guy's problem is. He's crazy. Okay, so why are people advocating for homosexual rights and decriminalization and all that kind of stuff? Because they don't want to put up with that person in prison. That's it. They never get better. It doesn't matter how many times they go to prison, and they don't understand. The one thing they can understand is that, oh, that person doesn't actually like me, so it's not okay to do that to the person who doesn't like me, even if I like that person. Ah, wow, that's what that was. Okay. But the problem is, like, their defense is like, yeah, there's straight people who do that, and I'm like, yeah, but the resolution between straight people who go through that kind of stuff is actually being in a relationship with each other, having a family, and being in a financially stable and or happy household. Right? That's the result. The result of two gay people or homosexuals or whatever, two grown men doing that to each other is what? They're never going to change. That relationship's never going to get better, and they keep thinking each other is a woman. right? Because you're expecting that one to be like a woman when it's not, because that's how humans, like, that's just how life works. I'm so sorry, that's how biological beings work. They're not robots, they're not sex dolls. Like, and yeah, they know they don't get this. Okay, so they don't really get it, they don't get any of it, and they think it's okay to do that kind of stuff to people and force them to be somebody that they want them to be, because they have sexual feelings that they need resolved, and they want that person to resolve it because they trust that person. Like, do you not understand how insane that sounds? I trust you, so you have to do everything for me now. Because the entire world is filled with maids, and I get to pick which maid I get to be with. And when that happens, I don't have to pay them or any of it, and they don't have to agree to any of it. If they say no to me, that's just called discrimination. That's called a crazy person. That's how crazy people think. Okay? That's a crazy person. You need to avoid them like the plague. And that's how people, I don't know, advocating for pride and pride rights, because they don't want anything to do with gay people. They were fattening them up for slaughter, so to speak. You know, like fattening up pigs for slaughter? That's what they were doing. They're trying to get rid of it by getting rid of all the genes in every family associated with gay people. Because it's not technically a genetic disorder, but you know what? It lessens the chance of another gay person being born if you can just like round them up and just get rid of them all that way. Yeah, welcome to homophobia. Most people are homophobic. I know people lie about it all the time, saying, yeah, no, it's totally cool and normal. Most people in the entire world, they don't want homosexuals near them. They don't like homosexuals. Why? Because they cause problems. Why? Because they don't understand anything. Why? Because they think they are entitled to everybody else's genitals unless they tell them no. Verbatim. And it's like, yeah, no one else in the world is actually like that. People are computers. This is not your relationship isn't a coding program. And I don't know, sexuality isn't like something that you get to make up and decide on your own and create a new movement for. It's already existing because there's already people, but these biological functions exist within every living being, and it already exists. This is how people created families. This is how people created started businesses, economies. This is how people kept the world going and got along with each other. You don't get to make up whatever you want and force people to go along with it and say that it's okay. Yeah, sorry, that's just not how things work. This isn't virtual reality.